What's cracking, everyone? Welcome to the call. My name is Michael Sears, and I'm very pumped to have you on here with us today. We're talking about ketones, ketosis, international expansion. I've got a special guest that's going to be coming on with me, but if you're in the chat box, throw some heat up, tell me where you're from, tell me what you're doing. Love to hear where you're at. I can see a bunch of faces getting on here, so super cool. But I'm going to bounce right into this, and we've created a really cool online business with these ketones that everyone's been talking about. 2 years ago now, never thought that I would be working alongside nutritional therapists and doctors and all these life coaches with this cool product. I used it to build a residual income that helped me leave my job and move down to the Gold Coast here in Australia. But I've got someone on here to really dive deep into why this supplement is changing the world, and especially down and over into Europe. This is where we're really looking to expand. So Joe Rogister, can you give us, are you there with us today?
I'm here, buddy. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, man. Yeah, got you loud and clear. Hey, mate, welcome to the call just to start with, but also, can you give us a little bit of a background into yourself and tell us why I've got you on the call here with you today?
Yeah, cool. Well, I suppose it's because I know a little bit about the supplement, a little bit about nutrition. I'm a nutritional therapist, and I actually became a nutritional therapist because of my disdain for supplements and the nutrition industry in general, and just not the nutrition industry so much, but just misinformation from the diet whole industry. And so I used to be the anti-supplement nutritional therapist guy. And that was how I got introduced to this ketone supplementation. Somebody, wanted me to test it out. I wanted to show people, why it didn't work, like I wanted to do with a lot of nutritional supplements that are out there. And this was the first supplement that kind of turned my mind around about it. And so I decided to partner up with the company, just like you eventually decided to do, Michael. And once you see the impact that it can have on people, partner with them to get it, into more people's bellies and educate people about, a smarter way to fuel their body. So that's the kind of brief history of me and how I came to be part of Prove It.
Cool. And so, just jumping straight into it, why is ketones and why is this whole supplement and this product, this company, to be backed well?
Well, if you think about it, right, we've had this for 100 years. They've been studying getting people into the keto diet. And when people, back in the 1920s, they were looking at it because of the effects that it had on the brain, this calming effect on the brain, this overall wellness. Back then, they didn't really know too much about it. This overall wellness that people found when they reduced their amount of carbohydrates greatly. And what they found is that was getting their body into a state where they switched from using carbohydrates into using our fat. And when they switched into using fat, our body created that fat in absence of carbohydrates to use to energize the body. Our body converted fat into this energy source, the ketone, and this energy source proved to be much more efficient for every one of our body functions, all of our metabolic pathways, our brain, everything. And so they called it back then the keto diet. So keto diet, obviously getting rid of carbs is not great. So it wasn't something that was very followed, but they continued to study this ketone molecule since the 1920s. So if you think about, this is why you've been seeing the prevalence of the keto diet coming back into the play, because people know it's super beneficial. But because of some military science, some NASA science, a lot of money thrown at research, a few years back, people were able to identify and isolate this ketone molecule, bind it to a mineral so that it could be available to us in a supplement form. That's what we had shared with us at one point. That's what, I was shown 3 years ago and wanted to disprove. But, this supplement ketone I'm sure we're going to talk about a few of the effects, but is literally having a massive impact on people because, it's a dual metabolite. It provides us energy, but it signals off all these things that we don't want to happen with our body, and signals on all things that we do want to have happen with our body. So I'm simplifying greatly for for the purpose of time, because you can dive into, just about every big health and wellness professional on the world. They're all talking about this, right? They're all either, trying to get people following the keto diet, or utilizing tools like exogenous ketones, intermittent fasting, to get people just taking advantage of ketones. So it's probably one of the, it is the biggest kind of shift that we've seen in the nutrition world, certainly in our lifetimes.
So just to even simplify it even further, the ketones themselves, they're making such a big impact because of the simplicity and the fact that people don't have to follow a full ketogenic diet anymore.
That's right. Logistically, that was the big thing from a logistical standpoint. Wanting people to get the health benefits of the keto diet is a great desire for all of the health and wellness world. But logistically, people can't follow the regimen that they need to follow it. Now, it doesn't matter what dietary regimen they're following. It doesn't matter what lifestyle choices they're making. When they drink ketones, they get the benefits of the ketones. So 100% in every person's body, every single time when they drink ketones, within an hour, they have elevated their blood ketone levels so that ketones are available for their body and blood and brains to utilize, right? What happens next is oftentimes people, feel like making other lifestyle choices or changes because, they have better energy already from the ketones. They're not craving the foods that they used to crave because of the ketones. They're not as hungry all the time, so they're not overeating or over-consuming carbohydrates because of the ketones. But all they're doing is simply shaking something up in water and drinking it once a day. So that simple, that easy factor, they don't have to be scientists to know how they feel when they drink ketones. Is what attracts people to it. The long-term feeling, or the feeling once they drink the ketones for a while, is what keeps them coming back to it.
Yeah, and as you know, when I first started drinking them, I was a PT, smashing heaps of coffees, and I started drinking it. I instantly felt that energy. I wasn't looking for the fat loss. I wasn't looking for I wasn't looking for that muscle breakdown. I was just looking for energy. I was just, okay, sweet, and I just was firing. And it wasn't until I started getting it on my clients, and then they started getting awesome results, and then it just moved so fast from a client product based point of view. But I really want to get on here and talk. Let's switch it up a little bit and chat about why this. It's the fastest growing nutritional supplement in history. So talk to us a little bit about why this company is, I guess, moving so fast. And then we'll dive into, because we've got a bunch of people here on from Europe, and I want to talk about why, Australia blew up, but then why now we're looking into other spaces in the world.
Yeah, for sure. Well, look, for the first time in history, they identified another macronutrient, basically. So this is coming to be known as the fourth macronutrient. We've always had protein, carbs, and fat, but they've actually identified this as a fourth macronutrient. That is a huge thing, especially with all these other benefits that come around to it. And it's backed by so much science, all the best doctors and healthcare professionals in the world. So it's been very fast moving because it appeals to so many different demographics. One singular product that, the fat loss thing that you talked about, Michael, is like a side benefit. It's the brain function, the energy, the mood, the sleep, all the things that people are looking for quality of life. So it's a quality of life product, and it's grown very fast. 750 million in their first 4 years is a huge amount. 400 million, probably is what they're going to do this year. And so that's a very fast moving thing because people are getting results. But this is before their international expansion. And that's what's going to go on over the next couple of months and into 2020. So yeah, I'd love to, I'm very excited for the world to discover this, because the more experiences we have out there, the more, actual change and more inspiration people feel to try it. And that's what, from a healthcare professional's standpoint, if we can get people making better choices using whatever tool possible, then that's a massive win. So yeah, if you want to talk expansion, let's go.
Yeah, well, like the thing that I thought was quite ridiculous was when you hear about things like Uber and those sort of things, how fast paced that moved. And with our business, like this thing moved so fast in Australia, and I've never actually seen anything, help so many people. But the product itself moved so fast because it was just helping so many people. And we've had our eye on places like Europe for a while now, and now that we're working on that international way to get products, support people in other countries. Can you talk to us a little bit about like that international expansion and how and where's next?
Yeah, for sure. Well, listen, there's things that we know in the fourth quarter of 2019 that we're going to be likely opening a couple countries in the EU. Will be Germany and UK. It looks like it's first on the list. We don't know the exact dates. All we know is that it is imminent. We know that it is very important for people that want to take advantage of the international expansion for them to start building their distribution channels within those countries. Because if you think about it, we're still in pre-launch here in Australia, Michael. Once the health organizations give full approvals and we move into Australian dollar processing and warehousing, it's going to be like opening of floodgates. Sports teams will be able to take it. The healthcare providers will be more able to utilize it in their practices, and that basically means that every man, woman, and child in Australia tries the product over the next couple of years after an official opening. So if we're going into Europe right now, you have to imagine that now is a very important time for people to be thinking about laying down their distribution tracks if they want to take advantage of those floodgates there. So, and here's the plan and the exciting part, right? There's 741 million people in the EU. If they plan on starting in just a couple countries, and then in 2020, expanding into 20 more countries across the EU, that's a massive population. If you take a $400 million company this year with this existing product line at a time when the world's just discovering ketosis and the science is flooding into the market about the benefits of exogenous ketones, this is easily a $1 billion company by 2021. So just from a sheer number standpoint, if people have an entrepreneurial bone in their body and want to take part in a $600 million expansion in just a couple of years, that becomes a pretty exciting venture.
Yeah, for sure. And I like I've said it already on this Zoom, it was something that I got involved in a couple of years ago, and I never really thought that this was going to be a business opportunity. I've seen this from a product point of view, being a personal trainer, being a health coach. Like this is something that, took off in my head from a product point of view, but from a business standpoint, it was something that, I picked up pretty quickly, and how fast the product actually moved was why I guess I got involved in the business. And the business I've found is just as important as the product itself, because I've seen some massive stories and incomes just come off the back of, getting this product out into the marketplace. But is there anything else that you would say from, I guess, an expansion standpoint, because we're wanting to get this out into as many European mouths as possible. Is there anything else, like maybe logistically wise, or what else you would say to someone if they were looking at this from a business opportunity, or, well, just from any opportunity, I guess?
Yeah, for sure. First off, get ketones into you, right? Like no other business. This is, it's not an energy drink. It's not a protein. It's not skincare. It's not anything else has ever been experienced. So you have to experience ketone energy. Get a 20-day sampling of ketones into you so that you can feel what everybody's talking about. And then if you feel what we've felt and like so many other people have felt, and you see that this is going to be a very popular product and help a lot of people with a lot of things, then perhaps you want to take part in the business side of things. If you do want to take part in the business side of things, then it's time to take action now, because like the real estate market is all about location. In a distribution of a nutrition supplement, in the network marketing world, community marketing, direct sales, timing is very, very important. And we now have the timing. In Australia, Michael, you were one of the pioneers, the founders that basically figured out how to get the products into the country, which then had the snowball effect of then establishing the market, and which starts the opening of the country process. So the people that want to do that in the EU, keep in mind, nobody can get products into the EU or UK right now, except for people that know how to do it. So because of our experience, our overcoming the challenges of the past in international importation of the product into different countries, we now have the know-how to be able to get into these countries before the launch. And that gives us from a strategy standpoint, from a timing standpoint, that gives us a significant advantage in the market. So we're looking for those people right now that want to take advantage of those strategies and this timing and get products into them, and then start talking to us about how we bring it into different countries across the EU.
Perfect. And so thanks very much for your time, Joe. Thanks for that information. If anyone's watching this from a recording standpoint, or anyone who's watching this live, get in touch if this is resonating with you. But from a recording standpoint, if whoever's sending you this recording obviously cares a lot and wants to have your input and would love to hear back. So if you've watched this far through and you're pumped up, you're fired up, there's no time like the present. So we'd love to help you expand, get this ketones in your mouths, and basically let's rock and roll.
Absolutely. Thanks, Michael.
Thanks very much, guys. I'll catch you later. Bye.
See you, bro.